There is a street in Rosario, Argentina called Estado de Israel, number 525, an unpaved road in a working-class neighborhood in the south of the city on the banks of the Paraná River, the second largest waterway in South America. If you type that address into Google Maps today, the first thing it tells you is this: birthplace of Leo Messi. The house has been empty for years. The family moved on long ago, but the street has not moved on. Neither has the city. Murals of Messi cover entire tower blocks in Rosario. On one of them, someone has written, "From another galaxy, but from my neighborhood." Fans from Colombia, Japan, Senegal, and Germany travel specifically to stand outside that empty house on that unpaved street because it is the closest they can get to the beginning of something they have been watching their whole lives. Today, on July 12, 2026, Lionel Messi is 39 years old and playing in his 6th World Cup. He has just helped Argentina beat Switzerland 3-1 after extra time in Kansas City with an assist on the opening goal, a performance that was quietly brilliant rather than spectacular on a night when his teammates carried the team home. In the 121st minute, Lautaro Martinez put in the rebound to seal it. And somewhere in that stadium, between the exhaustion and the relief, Lautaro found Messi and said something to him. "I told him right there on the pitch to enjoy the moment," Lautaro said afterward, "because he deserved it and that we would keep giving our all for ourselves, but above all for him, since this is his last World Cup and he has given us so much." His last World Cup. Wednesday in Atlanta, Argentina plays England in the semi-final. 2 wins away from the final. 2 wins away from becoming the first nation since Brazil in 1958 and 1962 to win back-to-back World Cups. 2 wins away from Messi lifting that trophy one more time at 39 years old in the country where everything he built began. This is the story of Lionel Messi. Not a strategy, not a brand, a life. Welcome back to the Celebs Mindset. Let's go back to Rosario, back to where it starts. Jorge Messi worked at the Ashendar steel factory in Villa Constitucion. Celia, his wife, worked in a magnet manufacturing workshop and later as a cleaner. Working class family, 4 children, third one born June 24th, 1987. They called him Leo. He played football the way every kid in that neighborhood played football, constantly with whatever was available, in the street, in the park, in the schoolyard. His mathematics teacher, Andrea Sosa, remembered later that he would run out to breaks to play with whatever was around. Assembled balls made of paper, socks, soft drink tops. Small for his age, fast, impossible to knock off the ball. They called him La Pulga, the flea. His maternal grandmother, also named Celia, recognized it before almost anyone else. She was the one who took him to his first sessions at the local club Abanderado Grandoli, where his father coached. She was the one who pushed for him to be allowed to play against older, bigger boys, not despite his size, but because of what she saw when he played against them, which was that it didn't matter. She was the one, more than anyone, who put him on the path. He moved to Newell's Old Boys youth system, and there, at 12 years old, he did something remarkable. Not in a match, but to his coach. Enrique Dominguez retired from coaching at 45. His reason? He had already trained the best player in the world. "For me, he was like a gift from God," Dominguez said years later. "There was nothing to teach him. He knew everything already. What Leo does on the field today, he was already doing at the age of 12. His coach Adrián Correa remembers that period differently, not as the legend already forming, but as the struggle happening underneath it. Jorge Messi drove a Renault 12 that was falling to pieces. He sometimes told Correa he didn't know if he'd make it to training the next day because he had no money for petrol. Around that same time, the family got news that made the petrol money seem trivial. Leo had been diagnosed with growth hormone deficiency, 40 centimeters and 15 kilos behind his peers, as Correa recalled it. The treatment that would fix it costs roughly $1,000 a month. Their health insurance lapsed. Jorge had lost his job. The money simply wasn't there. What followed is one of the most unlikely contract negotiations in the history of sport. Barcelona's director Carles Rexach came to watch a 13-year-old from Rosario, and what he saw was clear enough that when the board of directors hesitated about signing a foreign player so young, Rexach issued an ultimatum: prove commitment now or lose him. With no paper available, Rexach wrote the contract terms on a paper napkin. Barcelona would pay for Leo's medical treatment, Leo would join La Masia, the family would move to Spain. They moved, and then over the following months, his mother and his brothers couldn't settle. They went back to Argentina. Messi stayed in Barcelona with only his father, shy, homesick, in a country whose language he was still learning, on a team where some of his new teammates initially thought he was mute because he never spoke. He was 13 years old, far from home, with injections in his leg every night, and football as the only place in the world where any of it made sense. The pitch, he has said, was always the place where I felt at home. What happened next, you probably know, because it is the most documented career in the history of the sport. 17 league titles with Barcelona, 4 Champions League trophies, 8 Ballon d'Or awards, a record that may never be broken. Over 800 career goals for club and country combined, the European Golden Shoe 6 times. And then, the thing that shaped everything about how Argentina saw him and how he saw himself was the journey toward a World Cup. He had tried. God, he had tried. 2006 in Germany, a teenager, 1 goal, a quarterfinal exit. 2010 in South Africa, the best player in the tournament, not a single goal, a quarterfinal exit. 2014 in Brazil, the final, a golden ball, a defeat to Germany in extra time that he could not prevent however hard he tried. 2018 in Russia, knocked out in the round of 16 by France, a team with a generational talent of its own, and Copa America after Copa America that ended without a trophy, while Argentina questioned whether he loved the shirt, whether he sang the anthem, whether this quiet boy from Rosario who had lived in Barcelona since he was 13 was really one of them. He has addressed those questions in the most definitive way available to a footballer by winning. Copa America. Argentina beat Brazil at the Maracanã. Messi dropped to his knees on the pitch and wept. He had never won a major international trophy. He was 33 years old. Qatar, World Cup final. France, 3-3 after extra time. Messi scored twice. A penalty shootout. Argentina won their 3rd World Cup. Messi lifts the trophy. He kneels, he covers his face. 35 years old. Everything he had carried for a decade was finally put down. And then, instead of stopping, he came back. To Inter Miami, yes, to the slower rhythms of MLS after 34 years in Europe. But the flag never changed, the number 10 on the Argentina shirt never passed to anyone else, and when the 2026 World Cup came around, he was 38 years old at kickoff, and the doubters came back, because they always do. Was he too old? Was he fit enough? Should Argentina be building for the future rather than depending on someone approaching 40? June 16th, 2026, Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, Algeria. He scored not 1, not 2, but 3. A hat trick, the first of his World Cup career, across 20 years and 6 tournaments, arriving at 39. If you need proof that this sport is still capable of astonishing you, there it is. He then scored twice against Austria, once against Jordan as a substitute, curled a free kick around the wall in the 80th minute to extend his own all-time World Cup scoring record to 19 goals. Once against Cape Verde to make it 20, the first man or woman in the history of the tournament to reach that number. 8 goals in 5 matches, the most by any player through a team's first 5 games since Germany's Gerd Müller in 1970. Against Egypt in the round of 16, it looked for large stretches like the ending had finally arrived. 2-0 down with 15 minutes remaining. A missed penalty earlier, a post struck, Argentina rattled and out of ideas. And then, in the 79th minute, an assist for Christian Romero. In the 83rd minute, a goal of his own, and in the 2nd minute of stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez's header, and Argentina threw in the most dramatic comeback in World Cup knockout history. Honestly, I'm just so happy we made it through and about the way we did it, Messi said. The composure is staggering. Today against Switzerland, his scoring streak of 9 consecutive World Cup matches came to an end, the longest in the history of the competition. He didn't score, he did assist the opening goal, a corner delivered onto the head of McAllister in the 10th minute, and when it mattered in extra time, his teammates delivered, Julián Álvarez in the 112th, Lautaro in the 121st. Argentina are through to the semi-final. Messi is 1 game from a final, at 39 years old, in what he has confirmed will be his final World Cup. There is something that makes this specific tournament different from all the ones that came before it, and it isn't the goals or the records, it's the people around him. This Argentina squad, Martinez, Alvarez, Fernandez, De Paul, McAllister, they didn't just grow up watching Messi. Some of them grew up with his posters on their walls, and they have said more than once this tournament that they are playing partly for themselves and their country, and partly for him. For the man who carried Argentina before they were ready to carry themselves, who dried their tears and lifted that trophy in 2022, and then came back to do it one more time. we would keep giving our all, Lautaro said, above all for him. On Wednesday, in Atlanta, they play England. Kane, Bellingham, Saka, Rice. England's best squad in a generation, hungry, battle-hardened, finally believing this could be their year. And on the other side of the pitch will be a 39-year-old man from an unpaved street in Rosario, 8 World Cup goals in this tournament alone, 21 all-time, playing the last competitive chapter of the greatest career the sport has ever produced. The street in Rosario is still there, the house is still empty, the murals are still growing. And from another galaxy, but from that neighborhood, one more game awaits. Was Messi's 2026 World Cup? 8 goals, records rewritten at 39, a team that runs through walls for him, the greatest final act in the history of sport? Or is there something bittersweet about a story this extraordinary inevitably approaching its last page? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to the Celebs Mindset, the real stories, the ones worth telling.